guys, and welcome to Sex, Safety and You, where we talk about safe sex and discuss about certain topics that have to do about sexual health and relationships. I'm your host, Mia.
And I'm your other host, Daniel.
And here is our first episode. Woo! So, for our first episode, we will be discussing about the importance of safe sex education.
That's right, Mia. But can you please tell us why is it important?
Oh, why is it important? Well, like this lah. When we have sex education, we learn about the cognitive, emotional, physical, and social aspects of sexuality. With this, we can have a comprehensive understanding of what is happening to our own bodies and what is happening to other bodies of the opposite sex. So when we have this information, it's easier for us to have a clearer idea of what will be happening to us if we were to get something, or what is happening to us that is naturally happening, for example, women and periods.
Sexual education also covers about contraception. If you know what contraception is, it's basically condoms, birth control pills, stuff like that.
And abstinence.
And most important, the natural contraception, abstinence.
Wow. And yes, just touching on the fact on contraception, obviously contraception is a great way to help us avoid unwanted pregnancies. And it's very important to avoid unwanted pregnancies because in Malaysia, we have quite a number of cases of baby dumping. And this was also touched by the Deputy of Women, Family and Community Development Minister Hannah Yeoh.
Sex education also covers up on STDs. But we're not going to talk about it today, but we're going to talk about it in a future episode.
Yes. Maybe just a brief
sneak
taste.
Peek.
Yes.
A sneak peek. Yeah, so in the later episode, we're going to teach you about STDs, the different types, and the symptoms, most importantly, and how to avoid them.
And some misconceptions about STDs and how you could get them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we'll also be learning in a future episode, but this is very important when it comes to sex education. But when we go through sex education programs, we'll also learn about consent and relationships. When we learn about this, we can avoid going through abusive relationships. We learn how to be more respectful to other people when it comes to sex and also relationships.
Sex education not only helps us develop respectful sexual relationships, but also respectful social relationships.
Correct. All right, so let's get into the facts about everything. Now, Daniel, according to UNESCO, did you know that 34% of young people around the world can demonstrate accurate knowledge of HIV prevention and transmission?
Really?
Yeah.
That's not a good number.
No.
That's not a good number.
I mean, 34% of most young people in the world only know this information about HIV. And it's quite scary that maybe the rest of the percentage may not even know what HIV is or STDs or how to prevent them. Also, another thing, when it comes to natural occurrences to the body, for example, in women, did you know that only 2 out of 3 girls don't understand what is happening to their bodies during menstruation? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yes, we all go through periods when, as young women, but we don't actually know what is happening to our bodies during menstruation. For example, when is the right time to have a baby? During your ovulation clock, per se. Mm-hmm. All right, so Daniel, I'm also going to be talking to you about some myths and misconceptions that people have thrown about when it comes to the idea of having safe sex education implemented into schools or as a curriculum-based program. So, all right, so this is one myth, which is comprehensive sexuality education encourages youth to have sex. Is it true?
That's not true at all. Well, maybe not at all. But sex education, yes, although sex can be fun, but we really need to teach these kids that there are risks, such as pregnancy and STDs. Yes, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah. And his point is actually backed by the information provided by Kohler in his Journal of Adolescent Health. And he says that research clearly demonstrates that comprehensive sexuality education programs can help young people delay sexual initiation because they know of the risks of having unprotected safe sex. Yeah. Okay, so here's another misconception. Last one.
Yeah.
Last misconception. Comprehensive sexuality education disregards values and morals. Is it true?
No, just like the one before, not true. Sex education also helps us to be more respectful to the other person as well, because through sex education we understand what they're going through as well.
Yeah, and this point is also backed by the information provided by CWA, because I believe in terms of values and morals, it actually teaches you how to have more values and morals when it comes to being respectful to other people. All right, so in the last part of this information section, we would like to provide you with a few local organizations that offer information about sex, health, and relationships. So the first one I'm going to talk to you about is Spotline. Now, if you don't know what Spotline is, that's pretty okay for you to not know who Spotline is, because they recently just started up, I think about a year or two ago. So you can follow Spotline on Instagram at HelloSpotGirl. And basically Spotline is Malaysia's #1 comprehensive sexuality education provider for girls. You can actually contact them through WhatsApp at 012 240 4033. That's 012 240 4033. You can go ahead and ask them questions about anything when it comes to sex, health, or relationships. They will send your message to someone who can answer that question, whether it is a doctor, a therapist, or a sex health expert.
Spotline isn't the only organization that could help you with stuff like this. There are many others, such as the Pink Triangle Foundation, AIDS Healthcare, Malaysian AIDS Council, FRIDAI, VIIV Healthcare Limited, Women's AIDS Organization, Kuala Lumpur AIDS Support Service Society, also known as CLAS, and the Reproductive Rights Advocacy Alliance Malaysia.
These are only just a few of the many organizations about sexual health or relationships that are provided in Malaysia, whether they are governmental or non-governmental organizations. And each organization has a different purpose, whether it's for a specific type of situation like AIDS or more to health like FRIDAI. Now, let's have a little chit-chat, shall we?
Yes, let's have that. Mia,
Yes.
What do you think about sex education? What are your thoughts?
Okay, sex education as a general, I believe sex education should be implemented so many people, especially at a young age, would know about many things such as consent, prevention of STDs, unwanted pregnancy, how to prevent unwanted pregnancies. And I feel that it is quite important to have sex education because a lot of people will know how to be more respectful to each other. And I feel, for example, in the US, some states actually provide sex education to children as young as 4.
Wow.
And this wouldn't necessarily teach them about sex, but more to consent, more to how to be nice to people when it comes to relationships, these feelings you would have when it comes to relationships. And as you get older, you will learn about the more in-depth information about sex. So yeah.
Well, there's this case study I've read recently where a schoolgirl, she had unconsensual sex with her boyfriend.
Oh.
So this really affected her because it was also mentioned that she changed her sexuality to bi. So yeah, guys, unconsensual sex, don't do it, because you'll be messing with another person's life along with people related to them too.
Yes. The importance of sexual health education is quite it is quite a pressing subject because we have a lot of cases like these.
Yeah.
And it will be best if to help us prevent these sorts of situations. Now, okay, Daniel.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, do you think Malaysia should implement sex education programs in schools?
Definitely.
Well, if you were to ask me, I think it's important because, as I mentioned earlier, in one of the information that I provided, that was provided by Hanayo as well. She mentioned about the rise of cases of baby dumpings in Malaysia. And I feel that when we have this sort of education implemented in maybe our programs, or we have more programs that are out there that are free, we can actually reduce the number of cases of baby dumpings because we know how to prevent unwanted pregnancies. And also, it is quite a shame that we have those types of situations. So it is also quite important because when you have sex education programs, they will also provide you with the information of different types of organizations you can go to for help. And they will obviously provide you with ways to deal with certain situations without going through certain things like that, you know? All right. So, in this last part of the program, we are going to provide you with trivia of the day. Now, in each episode, we will have different segments with different parts to end our episodes. But today, because it's our first episode, we're just going to provide you with a trivia of the day. So, Daniel, did you know that teens get most of their sex education online?
I did not know that.
Yes, but most of it is quite inaccurate.
True. It's the internet.
Yes.
But I understand why the teens were to look online because they're too scared to ask their parents.
That's true.
That's true.
And also because of the lack of sex education that we have
In Malaysia.
in the world.
In the world. In some parts of the world.
Yeah, albeit in Malaysia or like in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like because a lot of teens are told that having sex education is quite bad for you, maybe because of those misconceptions, they would look for that information online. And because most of the information online is quite inaccurate, it's quite bad. Like you won't know what these teens will actually go through. For example, there has been some information on the internet saying that if you were to sit on a toilet seat, you can contract sexually transmitted diseases.
What?
Yeah. Well, you can contract different types of diseases that are non-sexually transmitted because sexually transmitted diseases are sexually transmitted diseases.
As the name suggests.
Yes. So usually these diseases will only be contracted through skin-to-skin contact or based on the exchange of saliva or exchange of body fluids. So
more on the next episode.
We will touch more on that on the next one. So that's it for today.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. We hope you've learned a thing or two about sex education and the importance of safe sex.
Yeah. So hope you guys were a bit more aware of today's topic. And until next time, this has been Sex, Safety, and You. With Mia.
And Daniel.
Bye.
Bye.